All right, so now let's talk about how you manage applications on Neat devices in Neat App Hub. And this is centered on our Red Dot award-winning management platform, Neat Pulse. So Neat Pulse is where you manage your entire fleet of Neat devices, all of the settings and profiles and policies and everything, and organization is all within Neat Pulse. And that absolutely includes Neat apps. So let's go through and show you sort of the process around managing it and how you deploy them on our devices. So I've got all my rooms set up here with my Neat devices, but if I go over to my menu, I've got this item called Apps. So I'm going to click on that. And here is the entire catalog of App Hub applications that are available to you in your devices. And as you can see here, you can go through as a Neat Pulse owner or admin, and you can go through and you can either enable or disable individual apps for your organization. So maybe there's some apps that aren't of any interest to you. You can just disable those so another admin doesn't deploy them on a Neat device. So pretty easy to just organize what apps you want to make available in general. You also notice that these are organized into types of apps, right? So you have room availability apps, which are available on Neat Pad. And that's important because we've tried to organize these to make sure that you're getting the right type of apps on the right type of devices, right? So some, a calendaring room availability app doesn't make sense to be on a, on a Neat board, for instance, in most cases. So, you can deploy those on pads, but not on other devices. Similarly, we have a category called Other. This is going to be where most of your apps are. And these are really apps that are going to be more appropriate for Neat boards, Neat frames, things with a touch screen, for collaboration, that sort of a thing, but maybe wouldn't make sense to deploy on something like a Neat bar, which doesn't have a touch-enabled screen, for instance. This again is just a way to organize what app goes where and help you stay organized with getting the right app in the right place. So now let's go to deploying the apps themselves. So what I'm going to go now is to my devices item here. And this is all my devices in the organization. I'm going to use my handy search function right here to look for the ones just in our San Jose office here and find my Neat Board Pro that I was using earlier, which is this guy. So I'm going to open that up. And here you see all the settings for this individual board. And if I scroll down, one of the device settings here is apps. So I'm going to open that up, and you'll see now available all of the different applications that are available within App Hub for this device. Again, based on that app catalog that I showed you before. So all the ones that I have enabled are now available for this board. So I'm going to look through here, and all the ones that you saw on the screen earlier, you can see are enabled. But let's say I wanted to enable a new app, right? I have some users that want to start using Lucid Spark here. So I'm going to go ahead, and all I have to do is just turn that on. That app will appear on the screen and it'll be ready for use. So it's just as simple as that. So, this is just a really nice way to centralize control of app deployment within Pulse for admins. So the nice thing about this is that there's no in-person on the device setup that you have to do. You don't have to go in and deploy an app from there, and there's no user access to it. So you don't have someone walking into a room, looking at an app store saying, oh, what does this do? And deploying an app. It's done centrally here. That's very important because a lot of these apps, obviously you're paying for licenses and you want to make sure that the app is only going to the people who really need it. So this gives you control over that in a nice centralized way. Now, another thing that is of concern when you're deploying apps like this is, well, how do I keep them updated, make sure I'm on the latest version? So the first thing to understand there, which is really important, is that there's no Neat OS and app dependency, right? So you can update the apps completely independent of the version of Neat OS that you're on. So that's very convenient. And in our update screen right here, this is where you see our complete Neat OS roadmap, right? And you also see all the available updates, including available updates for apps. So you see Robin here, the room scheduling application, that has an update available. So you can update that app if you're using it. AppSpace also has an update available. So just like we give you the updates for Neat OS and Zoom and Teams, we also give you the updates for the applications as well. So I think this is a really powerful and intuitive way to manage the apps. It gives you a lot of control as an administrator to make sure the right apps are going on the right devices for the right users, and it's extremely extremely simple, and we plan to keep it that way.